You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and The Restless fans. This week, we have Sharon Newman thrown a lifeline as her blackout memories begin returning, and this could be a major karmic slap for Phyllis Summers in the end. And of course, she's so desperate to see Sharon behind bars. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's get into why this may be a long overdue karmic clap back on Phyllis, with Sharon likely getting away with her crimes. And hey, please subscribe if you're not following us already. Let's talk about it. So right now, we have Sharon Newman accused of crimes quite unlike her usual normal standard of behavior. And of course, she's gone off her rocker a few times in the past and did some bad things. Yes, she burned down the ranch while in a bipolar spiral. Sharon also had issues with kleptomania in the past, which seems to have been associated with her mental health problems. Nikki and Sharon brawled to the extent that both were arrested for assault, and Phyllis said Sharon left her for dead after they had a tussle, and Phyllis fell down a flight of stairs, and Sharon freaked out and took off, but she did make sure Phyllis had a pulse, if I remember correctly. And Sharon, of course, tampered with Summers' paternity test to fool Nick and screw over Phyllis. We've also seen Sharon stab Cameron Kirsten to death in defense of herself and her daughter. And Sharon's latest crimes include dumping Heather's body and framing Daniel, although they do not include murdering Heather Stevens. That huge fact comes out during Sharon's next hypnosis session with Dr. Alan Laurent, is what seems to be happening. Already, Daniel and Summer have kind of been calming down a little now that they've heard Sharon's bipolar meds were laced with PCP. And of course, we have Alan helping her recover the memory that she didn't run Phyllis off the road. Sharon is relieved to have confirmation by her memory coming back, but she already pretty much figured that one out because Phyllis as much as admitted it to Lauren, and Sharon overheard them talking. So very soon, Heather's murder is going to be erased from Sharon's list of recent crimes, leaving just the body disposal and the framing charges. That will not be enough to put Sharon away for any length of time, is my guess, especially not with the mitigating factor of her mental illness and her meds being sabotaged. And Phyllis is going to lose it completely when she thinks Sharon is going to get away with everything. But let's be fair. Phyllis has gotten away with so many crimes in her time that it's almost shameful. That's why I see this as some sort of karmic retribution that the writers are crafting. Sharon getting away with crimes will drive Phyllis to the brink, but does Red have this coming to her? Maybe. Let's talk about it. Is Sharon evading justice for her crimes and frustrating Phyllis exactly what Red deserves? Now, here's why I think it's karma. Think back 30 years. I know that's a long time ago, but it's very relevant to what is happening now. Back then, Danny had divorced Phyllis after Christine exposed a lot of Phyllis's bad deeds. So Red was furious at Cricket and decided Danny could love her again if Christine wasn't in the way. So Phyllis hopped behind the wheel of a rental car, intent on running over Christine and getting her out of Phyllis and Danny's way permanently. The problem was Cricket happened to be with Paul at the time, and he jumped in front of the car to save Christine. So Phyllis missed her target, and then she freaked out and drove away from the scene of the crime. Christine was left frustrated for years, not knowing for certain who tried to kill her and Paul, because, it was a question of who were they aiming at, one, the other, both, if I recall. And then 18 years later, she got answers. Almost 2 decades where Phyllis got away with attempted murder without anyone even realizing it except the viewers. Then in 2012, as part of another investigation, Christine found a psychiatric file on Phyllis that included a car rental receipt revealing that Phyllis was the hit and run driver from all those years back. And when I say nobody else knew, the victims didn't know, most people didn't know. The statute of limitations funds had run out by the time Christine got this information 18 years later. And at the time that Phyllis tried to kill Christine, she had been working on a federal case. So she turned around and got charges filed against Phyllis for attempted murder of a federal agent. And Phyllis lied, denied, but wound up arrested in front of her whole family. Christine refused a plea bargain that didn't include good prison time. And then there were some delays and a change in judges, and the new judge didn't buy the federal agent angle and dropped the charges against Phyllis, who was free as a bird. There was a brief civil suit as well. Christine was furious and she wanted revenge, but Paul told her to let it go. And Michael told her the same thing, saying that Christine was on a witch hunt. Kind of sounds like what Michael is saying now to Phyllis about Sharon. Interesting, right? So now, 12 years after that, Christine never saw Phyllis pay for trying to kill her. Not a day, not a minute, nothing. That still chafes at Cricket. Plus, Phyllis isn't really sorry. You know, she tried to steal Danny again multiple times since then, and definitely recently, and she never misses a chance to snark at Christine, saying Danny is going to dump her soon. So not only did Phyllis get away with it, but she's still taunting Cricket. And that's not the only crime Phyllis skated on. She drugged and raped Danny Romalotti. She has blackmailed, pulled breaking and entering stunts a couple of times. She drugged Daniel's biological father to steal some material to fake a DNA test. She has engaged in kidnapping, theft, obstruction of justice, and hacking. So it's kind of ballsy for Phyllis to gripe about Sharon getting away with crimes. So I guess it only matters to Phyllis when it's something that affects her family, not other people. You know, she has perpetrated crimes on Danny, her first baby daddy, Christine, Paul, Michael, Sharon, Nick, and others, and plenty of others. So I just wonder, once the dust settles, you know, is someone going to write Phyllis a reality check and tell her she needs to move on from her rage about Sharon because she got away with doing terrible things to other people, including Christine? Phyllis will not want to hear that, but I think she does need to hear it. And, you know, other crimes, Phyllis was part of the body disposal of J.T. Hellstrom. That was her. Nikki, Sharon, and Victoria, they actually buried him alive thinking he was dead. Pretty much the same thing as what Sharon did with Heather. And of course, in the case of JT, Sharon was also involved, but Phyllis has moved more than one body to avoid arrest in addition to the JT incident. So for now, I think most people want to see Sharon exonerated on all counts. Heather's murder charge should be cleared up soon once Sharon recovers her memories of that incident, hopefully later this week, and she can tell them that the real killer was in the room, and Michael hopefully won't have any problem getting the other charges either dropped or minimized so that Sharon serves no jail time because of the mitigating circumstances. Cricket has known for 12 years that Phyllis ran her down and Red never paid for it. So is it karma that Sharon likely won't be punished for her crimes that Phyllis is furious about? I kind of think so. What do you think?
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.